Welcome to The Explainer, where we're all about breaking down big topics into guides you can actually use. And today, we're diving into the absolute heart of any great educational escape room, the puzzles themselves. So let's just get right to it. How do you design puzzles that are fun, educational, and actually solvable? I mean, that's the million-dollar question, right? Because it's not just about stumping people. It's about creating these awesome aha moments that are rewarding and actually teach something. Okay, so to make sure we get this right, we're going to build everything on three, let's call them golden rules. Seriously, think of these as your foundation. They're going to guide every single choice you make from here on out. And these are totally non-negotiable. First, your puzzle has to link to a learning goal. Second, it's got to match the story. And third, it needs to hit that perfect balance between being a challenge and being fun. You want them thinking, not wanting to give up. And this quote from Nicholson really just nails it, doesn't it? What he's saying is your puzzles aren't just fluff. They're not just fun little side quests. They are literally the tools you are using to teach. That's their whole job.
All right, so we've got our rules down. Now for the fun part. Let's crack open the toolbox and see what we can build. You know, the best experiences have a whole mix of challenges. So let's check out some of the different kinds of puzzles you can use. First up, the classic finding things puzzle. You know, the good old scavenger hunt. This is all about getting players to really look around, to be observant, to touch things, to interact with the room. It's a fantastic way to reward their curiosity. Then you've got your spatial puzzles. These are great for testing how people think in 3D. We're talking maps, coordinates, maybe even one of those cool transparent overlays you put on top of something else to reveal a secret. It's all about seeing how things fit together. Okay, let's get physical. These puzzles get people moving and using their hands, which makes everything feel so much more real and dynamic. I mean, it could be a simple jigsaw puzzle or something more clever, like, using a tool to reach something that's just out of grasp. Now, codes and ciphers. These can seem intimidating, but here's the absolute key. You can use really complex-looking stuff, Morse code, substitution ciphers, you name it, as long as you provide the key. The whole point is that the tool to solve it has to be in the room. It's a test of decoding, not a test of what they knew before they walked in. So, you see all this variety? What's so cool is how perfectly this maps to Gardner's multiple intelligences. You've got physical challenges, word puzzles, math problems, spatial stuff. By mixing it all up, you're not just keeping the game fresh, you're making sure that every single person in that room, no matter how they learn, gets a chance to shine. All right, so we've got all these awesome individual puzzle ideas, our building blocks. But now we need to step back and be the architect. We got to think about the big picture, right? The entire journey for the player, from the moment they walk in to the moment they escape. So here's a good rule of thumb for a standard 60-minute experience. Shoot for about 10 to 15 puzzles. Why that number? Well, it breaks down to about one success every 4 or 5 minutes. That keeps the momentum going, gives them that steady feeling of we're getting somewhere, without totally overwhelming them. And within that number, you've got to mix up the difficulty. This is so important for momentum. You want to start them off with some easier wins right out of the gate. That builds their confidence, gets them working as a team, and gets them hyped up to tackle the really tough stuff later on. Now let's talk about flow. The absolute worst thing that can happen is a bottleneck, where the entire team is stuck on one single puzzle and everything just grinds to a halt. The way you avoid that is by designing a parallel path. Always try to have at least 2 different puzzles or clues available at any time. That way, people can split up, work on different things, and the energy in the room stays high. Okay, your puzzles are designed, your game flow is mapped out, you're feeling good. But wait, before you let anyone play this thing, you have to do one last quality check. Every single puzzle needs to pass what I call the ultimate fairness test. And this is it. You have to ask yourself these questions for every single puzzle. Like, is it super clear that this is a puzzle and not just decoration? Can somebody accidentally break it and make it unsolvable? Is there only one possible solution? Remember, being fair is way, way more important than being clever. And this quote right here is just so on point. Nothing is more frustrating. Because think about it, the moment of discovery, that click when something opens or a sound plays is everything. That's the reward. They need that clear feedback to know they got it right. Oh, and a quick but super important note on red herrings. Those misleading clues. Use them with extreme caution. Honestly, just be careful.
They should only be there if they're funny or they really add to the story. Your goal is not to waste their time, it's to keep them engaged. So respect their effort.
So here's the final question, the big one. Your puzzle is fair, your design is solid, but does it create an unforgettable experience? Because that's what this is all about. We've talked about the mechanics, the nuts and bolts, but the real art, the real magic, is using all of that to tell a story, to make people curious, and to create a memory that they're going to be talking about for weeks. That's the real win.